Filmmakers and photographers, drinking coffee and talking shit.
Welcome to Filmmakers and Photographers, drinking coffee and talking shit. Or drinking coffee beer. Beer coffee. Yeah. What is it? Is it coffee beer or beer coffee?
Mine's gone.
You're already gone?
So
No,
I'm
right.
the only one without beer.
it's a coffee
Right.
stout.
Randy's diving into the farmer's daughter. In this podcast, you'll hear insights and stories from five guys. I gotta
Five
update
guys.
my notes.
Yeah.
Five guys, and again, and maybe an occasional guest. We've got a guest who have all come to the craft of visual media from very different starting points. I'm your host, Matt Rickman.
I am Sean Letty.
Jack Rickman.
Chris Bell.
Randy Fitzenmeyer.
In this episode, we're going to talk to a very special guest, fellow video producer, Zach Robbin. Hi, Zach. How's it going?
Hello, it's going well.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So, Chris, why'd you bring this guy?
Yeah, no, Zach is a extremely talented video production guy, and it's just been a matter of time since we roped him in coming in here. So he's got a lot of great things to share. He's had a incredibly interesting launch in his career. He started out in the broadcast, ABC, CBS, kind of more drama kind of stuff, went on into reality type TV and has done also indie feature film work, documentary. In fact, he did his own documentary last year. So the guy is he's a glutton for punishment, and I think he's got a lot of things to share with us. So what say you, Zach? Why do you do what you do?
Well, actually, Chris didn't let me leave the office today, so this is like straight from the work day.
Yeah, that's a normal day.
Yeah, so
Yeah, welcome to the real world.
Ouch.
we do film and video. We did not make it to the real world, actually.
We create our own world is what we do.
Yes, that's right. We do every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
So tell us about your doc that you made.
Yeah, so last year I made a mini doc, which, in this day and age, formats are changing every day. So I think you can call it a documentary, even though it's about 13 minutes long. And
That's
we can,
long.
yeah,
Well done.
thank you. Yeah, we can talk some kind of SEO and reasons of how I kind of redistributed it over time. But in any case, it was called Guidebooking, and it was about the release of the new Poudre Canyon Rock Climbing Guidebook, the 3rd edition, here in Fort Collins, Colorado, Route 14. So I followed around some folks who were producing and publishing the new guidebook, and we made a story about the community that actually surrounds rock climbing. And it came together really well.
And Fort Collins is kind of a mecca for that, right? Especially the Poudre Canyon, and that's why they published the book.
Yeah, absolutely. It was...
We have another guest that'll be landing soon.
yeah.
We had a moth join our
Mothra.
podcast.
Mr. Miller.
Mothman, yes.
Mr. Miller's here. He's after
there's
the
another
farmer's
one.
daughter.
How is that, by the way, Randy?
It's very tasty.
How's the farmer's daughter taste?
Oh, man. Good one.
Bueno.
Really that good? Okay. So continue on, please, Zach.
So one of the really special elements of this film was that it was really centered around the community that helps create a guidebook, because it's really not one person. It takes, it's years in history and multi-generational contributions. And so that was really the focus of the film. And the special part was that community came together to celebrate the film. So we did a big screening up at the Mishawaka Amphitheater.
Nice.
And had like 250 local climbers there. And so showing your film to, I think, an audience that really kind of understands the material is a pretty exciting thing to do. So.
Well, you
That's
have to get a link up on the podcast website so you can check it out. It's a very, very good
I
film.
can't wait to check it out. I wish I
Yeah.
would have known about it. I could have introduced you to some heavy hitters.
Some
Yeah.
producers.
Yeah.
Some
In the climbing world.
In the climbing
In-
world.
in
yeah.
local.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
we
national.
should discuss. Yeah.
Fantastic, man. Sean hasn't said anything yet, and that's
Oh,
so.
hey,
That is
well-
very unusual.
Yeah, we are
unusual.
sharing
Sean,
a
are you-
mic.
I think,
We're sharing a mic. It's
I
Zach's
thought
episode.
something was odd.
We were
But-
preparing a duet.
So Zach, I mean, you and I hung out during that project. I saw it, in the works. You sent me a lot of different edits and things. I love that I get to be that sounding board for you. I'm curious, what are some of the projects that you have like always kind of wanted to do, or things that you're like cooking up doing, but like haven't had the chance to yet, or just haven't gotten around to doing? Like, if you had anything, any time in the world, what would you be producing and making for the world?
Yes, that is difficult because I think for those of us who have gone to art school, we realize that boundaries can be really important for creativity. So kind of endless openness is a challenge, I think, for all artists. But to give you some insight into some future projects in the next year or so, at one point I had produced an episodic series called The Daily Beta, and it was rock climbing themed YouTube series. And so I was looking at doing another similar series called Namaste Daily.
Nice.
Yeah, we're working on the title, but it would be in the yoga community. And, I think some elements to talk about in that respect is that when I do create, I always like to have kind of an audience in mind for the material. I think I have limited free time, and I do this for a living. And so the passion projects that I do outside of work, I like to have an impact in a community. So I usually start with that in mind. And I figure we're in such a beautiful environment here that to put yoga outside, and more than likely in an attractive male or female star on camera.
I'll do it.
There,
Fine. Okay,
That's
I'll
the
do
real
it.
reason.
man, we
I'm
really
in.
got to we got to the point really quick tonight here. So I think those elements I think are all going to hit, and I think they're going to hit well. So that's probably the goal for the next year, is to do an episodic content.
I have a
like that.
question.
Yeah.
Do you rock climb and do yoga?
Weirdly enough, I don't. I like to stretch my. No, I do actually, Randy.
At the
yes.
same time?
At the same time, some would say that it's ballet on the wall. That brings up a really good point.
Chris, why'd you
too.
bring him?
For you.
Ballet on the wall. I'm with you.
Well, no, Randy, I think that brings up a really good point. Early in kind of screenwriting and filmmaking, when I went to college for that, they had talked about write what you know, create what you know. I think that it's a really good starting point to look at activities that you enjoy. I think that you'll stay more engaged.
Oh yeah, most famous outdoor adventure photographers started out in doing their sport first and graduated to that. So
Yeah.
You hear
It's
that,
natural.
Jack? Do what you know. Do it. What the hell did you just say?
Just do
what
it.
you know.
Ju-
Just do
yes.
it.
I'll take this.
Yeah, copywritten. Also funny enough, Randy, I think I went the opposite direction, where I've noticed that, especially in the climbing filmmaking world, it's really kind of rugged. It has a great style. It's super raw. And then there's another side to it where filmmakers come out with the production value. They don't really know the sport, and they make something really glossy, but it doesn't really connect with the overall audience. I kind of fit in the middle there, where I'm a terrible rock climber and I am a terrible filmmaker, so I'm taking both of those elements and coming out with some raw stuff, Yeah.
So since you made it clear that you didn't make any money off the film, since it's not good, right? Is that what you just said? What do you do for your
Never
day
sell
job?
yourself short.
Real quick though, I will comment on that. The goal of that project was a add-on piece to selling the guidebook, and so. I guess without true analytics, we can't be sure, but I'd like to think that the exposure of the film helped sell the guidebook. There were comments directly kind of in some of the places that we put it online saying, hey, I'm going to go out and buy that book right away. And so I think, regardless of making money myself on it, I think the goal was met of helping spread the word on that.
For sure. I'm sure it was very well received. I mean, it sounds like the community
I
loved it.
think it was a great idea.
Yeah.
Sounds
Yeah.
cool to me.
Yeah,
Oh,
and I think that's another
Cool
reward
angle.
too, is like showing stuff to a community that likes your stuff, like you can make a living doing this and all that, but it's a big reward to get to do that as well.
And the biggest thing too, go ahead and move the mic over, Sean. I know you're dying to.
Just chomping at the bit over here.
But you finished it, and that's what I think is super cool is that you finished it.
Okay, so rapid fire question round, Zach. First question: autofocus or manual?
Oh man, manual focus.
Had a boy.
Okay. Let's see. Extra batteries or fully charged one?
That's deep.
You're so rapid.
Yeah, extra batteries and battery charger.
So manual. What would?
Go ahead.
No,
Well, okay, dream camera. If you could, any amount of money, what camera would you buy?
That's always one of those questions where there's a line.
Just say the fucking camera.
Nope, line in the sand. Cameras don't matter, man. The image doesn't matter. It's the story that you're telling.
Oh yeah, what'd you shoot your story with?
Well, it's
Your iPhone?
actually it was a collection of material. So we were telling a very long story, and it was a documentary. So we used a lot of sourced material from climbers over the years, and I did use Chris, of course, being the very generous man that he is. Believe it or not, loaned me gear and let me go out into the woods with it without asking what I was doing.
No, I ask quite frequently what you were doing.
Yeah. So, with that in mind, we used professional gear, we used GoPros, we used collected footage from the community. I used a drone on a series of stuff. And
It's a nice looking film. Yeah, you go check it out. It's I think you'll be impressed.
Okay, rapid fire.
Yes.
Free Solo, Dawn Wall, Valley Uprising. Favorite one?
So I haven't seen Dawn Wall yet,
Okay.
but between, all different. I'd say Valley Uprising. I thought the motion graphics really added
Hell
to that,
yeah.
and so I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, Dawn Wall's interesting. It's an interesting story, but yeah.
Also a film that used material over like 7 years of time.
Yeah,
So I
I
think
can't
that's
watch those.
always a unique challenge, especially as
I
we're
fear
entering a
heights.
world with like major data, right? Like
Yeah.
all of us are shooting for years now, and like what can we do with that stuff? I know you, Matt, like you think like I do, where you're collecting stuff and you'll be like, I'll retouch that in a year or so, 2 years.
Right.
And, you got stacks of hard drives,
Uh-huh.
and you'll probably make your Citizen Kane.
Rosebud.
I'll die with raw footage, probably,
Yeah.
is what will really happen.
We all will, yeah.
Yeah.
But the moral of the story, what's more important between visual or audio for your documentary?
That would
That's
be
a good
audio.
question,
That's
definitely.
audio. I dropped the camera like 40 times. It's part of the film. Yeah.
Good answer.
No, he didn't.
I did.
Audio is one of the hardest things, or true or false? Audio is one of the hardest things we do as filmmakers.
I would say that's a true right there. Very difficult, and it's 1/3 of filmmaking.
Yeah. Okay. I want
Hire a trained professional.
So manual focus? Why, man? Do you not have a good enough camera?
No,
a
so
modern
do you guys
camera.
know the story of the Luddites and the haters of technology? So it kind of goes,
Oh,
yeah, it goes with, well, I won't tell the story. You guys can look it up. But it goes with my idea of not really caring so much about gear. I don't trust the computer yet. I don't think that autofocus does what I want it to do most of the time.
I have a question.
After shooting on my A7 III for a photo shoot and having like no blurry pictures, I would have to.
I have a
Yeah.
I
question.
don't
a new
have cool.
camera.
Yeah, I don't have new
Does
cameras.
Ari make autofocus cameras?
I don't know. Who does Ari still make
No,
cameras?
because at that level, wouldn't you have a focus puller?
Exactly.
Did you just drop the mic?
Did I just drop a focus
Yeah.
puller?
Yeah, and what was shot recently on an Ari that's worth a damn?
Well,
Would you? Do we have enough time?
Yeah, absolutely,
right.
man.
I would say in Randy's, we actually have one right on the floor over there.
I don't think
if you-
Red makes one or Black makes one.
Right. But so the gimbal over there has actually a focus wheel on it,
100%, yeah.
which is insane because I went to film school. I'll date myself here. I took a Steadicam class.
Just don't date yourself on camera, right?
I will clone myself. You saw that video and you liked it.
And you liked it.
But, I think it's incredible that technology has advanced to the point where you can tell stories and use tools on such a small scale and have that level of production value to be like right alongside the pros.
Well, and
And
that's
for not much money.
and that's
For
that's
not much
uh,
money.
amazing.
Yeah.
That's
it's-
my approach. I mean, speaking video, I am absolutely tired of like reaching out to hire video people and them thinking, okay, I've got this thing that needs to be shot, and they come back with, well, we're gonna need a sound guy, and we're gonna need a lighting guy, and we're gonna need a PA, and we're gonna need a camera, and we're gonna need a director, and we're gonna like fuck off. If you can't go out and do all of that stuff on your own, like that's my level. That's my world. I get that there's a world for like having all of that stuff,
Yeah.
but to me, I don't want to be any part of it, So I love autofocus, and I love, gear that helps me do that to run mean and, lean and mean and nimble.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that, especially in the world that we're in, the more you can do with less, because you have to spread yourself really thin, you know what I mean? So we want guys that are doing the same thing we are, that are trying to build a rig that has all the stuff you need, a mic and a light and a monitor and,
Yeah.
The right tool for the job. And
Yeah,
a Craftsman
exactly.
wrench works just as good as a Snap-on most of the time.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
for
Did you
sure.
say strap-on or what did you say?
I don't know, he's talking about men.
What kind of tools are you using, Randy?
Cheers.
Hey, what's the farmer's daughter taste like?
I was not going to get one.
I'm going to move on
I'm
to
going to
that
do it.
as
and
well.
I'm doing it.
At the same time.
You want a farmer? Daughter?
I'll take his daughter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love you, honey. No.
May I as well, please? May I join in?
So what's
Yeah.
next between
what's
Namaste
next for you?
Beta,
Yeah,
Namaste
well,
Daily? What the fuck was it called?
real
Daily.
quick though,
Namaste
can I go back and
Nope.
it would? Yep, nope. We're moving on.
Chris, can you make the rewind sound?
We wind?
Yeah.
I need another farmer's daughter.
Smear flour, snare,
I love coffee, but, this is way
If
more
everyone
fun.
can leave notes in the comments about what they like, us on coffee or us on beer,
It's a very different show.
for sure.
I like us on Farmers' Daughters.
Oh man.
We have plenty of cameras.
Okay, you want to go back?
Yeah,
and
what I
and
was
change
gonna
your
say.
answer about autofocus.
No, I was gonna talk about how I actually reject what we were just talking about, which is that we have to be more nimble, less crew, quicker turnarounds, single person, all the hats, here's a piece of gear that can do everything. I think that's a response to the availability of putting material out on the web, and there's just seems like less and less thought to content, quicker turnarounds, really putting it out. I miss the craft. I miss the time put in.
Volume?
What's that? Volume?
Volume.
Of course, right?
Oh, is he
Does that
You're
make you-
surrounded by trade shows that, like, the whole thing is, if it's not out in a week, people, tune out and start paying attention to the next show or the next event.
Yeah,
or
it all
whatever.
depends what it is.
And so that, in that environment, that's exactly, the faster you can get that out and the more you can connect with people while they're focused on it, the better. But if you're an influencer or a blogger or vlogger,
As I am.
you would, you would say, you would say, like, take your,
That's news to Jack, but
you can take your time and you can plan your content and do it right if you want to. And, that is a challenge I think that, like, content creators have, is you have to have other people help you shoot yourself shooting stuff.
What do you
And
think,
can't,
Jack?
it's kind of hard, right?
I want to hear what Jack thinks.
No, yeah. Let me actually tee this up because I think Jack might chime in on this. So Randy has the new iPhone Max 11 Pro, big
Lots of
kick
words.
ass.
Don't
Just
drop
lots
it.
of words.
Right. So you could do everything with this. You could have shot your whole thing
That's
with this.
what I've been
it
doing.
would have been nice, yeah.
Or you could shoot all the way up to an Airy or something like this. So it's
Yeah.
it's the right tool.
Use both.
It's the right place. It's the whatever. But Jack shoots everything like.
I haven't touched like a real camera like this in months. I mean, except for my like still photo camera, which I have been using. But
You use your iPhone for like everything.
yeah, no, everything film related, iPhone.
Well, I think there's an element to that, which is most people watch iPhone footage played back on iPhones. So it looks really good because there's no resolution degradation.
Yep.
Have another farmer's daughter.
Yeah. She's a sturdy girl.
Randy didn't like this.
I like it.
Good.
But
I like her too.
you know, I would say with guidebooking, on the first day that I went out, I had the C100, about 4 lenses, tripod, slider, a monitor, audio, couple other things, and I was following a guy who has been going through that canyon for about 20 years of his life. And probably about a mile in, I wanted to pass out, right? And by day 2, I quickly realized that I was going to have to strip down my gear and make it work for the project, as opposed to trying to shoot for the vision that I had. And yeah, when you're really out in the field, you learn that pretty quickly.
Well, Jimmy Chen would have brought all the gear, but
Yeah, he does legs
Steven
though.
Spielberg.
One word,
Don't
one
shoot
word,
movies in the
budget.
yeah, exactly.
Well, that
Exactly.
and just like ruggedness. That dude's
So
serious.
Nama, what the fuck?
Namaste Daily. I already got it. I'm with you.
Nama's Daily. What's that all about? It's yoga.
Yeah, and I do have a really bad propensity of naming my projects daily, as if I'm actually going to put stuff out daily.
So why didn't you name it Downward Dog?
Daily downward
Can
dog.
I?
The
Yeah.
3D.
No, take the daily out.
Triple D's.
D.
I feel like this
D,
goes
yeah.
back to what I was saying, and
Daily downward
Jack,
dog.
chime in on
Triple D,
this.
dude, that's the new
I
name
got to
for
bring
this
beer
radio.
more often.
It's Triple D Yoga. Downward dog daily. Daily downward dog.
Triple D yoga.
No, but so Jack, weigh
You'll get a
in
lot of
on
hits
this.
on that shit.
I really don't like trying to put out daily content because
I tried. It didn't work.
Why not? Why didn't it work for you?
I just
Because it was summer and he was lazy.
that and I don't feel like I have.
Dad.
I don't know. I just couldn't find things to create every day.
Jack, what is the appropriate upload frequency for a proper YouTuber?
I mean, if you really want to do YouTube professionally, probably
A couple times a week.
yeah, like 2 or 3 times a week.
Daily's
So-
burning people out.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Not
it's
weekly.
got to be compelling content.
How is
too.
weekly?
Yeah.
Like if somebody was going to do like one a week, maybe it's a tutorial, maybe it's like a here's what I did artistically this
I
week
feel
kind
like
of thing. Tips
if-
and tricks.
For a content creator to start moving to less frequent uploads, the quality also has to go up.
But the problem is that's counter
That's
to
good.
like what's happening
That's
on
good.
YouTube.
That's like a good thing about the measure of that, right? It's like that axis.
If it were true, but the problem is it's going the other way. They're doing more frequent content with less quality. That's all clickbaity, right?
100%.
Oh, yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
and
so
well,
glad,
so
right?
but at the same time, let's talk about environment, right? So I heard a really good advice, and her name escapes me, but it was a social media influencer, and they were talking about using a platform that you just generally enjoy, because you're just not going to enjoy working on something.
No
if
one
it's a
actually
chore.
enjoys social media though.
Well, if you like Instagram or the interface more than you like
Instagram's
YouTube,
fun.
then create your content for Instagram.
Yeah, fair
but
enough.
like target it for the
Well,
platform.
or where's your audience?
Yeah,
to your point, you know?
exactly. Where's your audience? And for me, it's on Reddit. Does anyone
That's,
here?
that says a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris,
Yeah.
why'd you bring him?
What's that?
Yeah, there you go. You never heard Reddit?
It's based
I've
off
used
that
Reddit.
You're older than
Snapchat
I am, and you
chat
know.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's in the
Randy's on Ariat.
So, Jack, what do you think is the best way for a new YouTuber to like make a splash, make us like get people watching? Like, have you ever come across somebody like early in on their YouTube page and been like, "Crap,
Yes,
I'm
but
gonna follow
it's,
this guy"?
it's all based on category, because if like you're really into filmmaking, then you're gonna only find filmmaking stuff, and then there's a chance you'll come across someone pretty small. But like to make like a splash in your category, it's very difficult. You got to find something different.
It feels like the filmmaking like creator category is a little saturated. Would you agree or disagree with that?
Especially in podcasts.
Vodcast.
Podcasts.
Well,
You wouldn't get
Is
it.
what we were doing.
Is it more saturated than still photography? That's would be an
I
interesting.
was
Are people
trying to
still
like,
doing
on
still
YouTube
photography?
Specifically with like photographers.
They're
and,
called
like, you know,
cinemagraphs now. So,
yeah, tutorials and stuff.
so I will say though that my prediction. Let me sit first, please.
Sit down.
My prediction is that right now we're dealing with a kind of an issue with too much data, too much material out there, too much content. we're going to have to progress towards a curation. I think that
Called oversaturated.
oversaturated would be the term. Yeah, scientific. But I would think that we would head towards a form of curation that would get, I don't know. Is it
You
an
like following
algorithm?
a hashtag maybe? Like only the ones you liked?
No, I think like Netflix, I spend 45 minutes looking for something to watch and then go to sleep. So like, how are they going to get me to watch the stuff I want?
That's a guy thing.
Is it? Yeah.
Really, come on. It's a genetic guy thing.
We're just surfing and
That's
surf.
right.
Yeah.
We're hunter gatherers.
That's a good point.
Once
Yeah.
we get the kill.
I actually think that
That's right.
it's the quantity of content that's out there, and there's a ton of content because anybody, I mean, shit, this is going to end up on YouTube. I mean, that speaks volumes for what's allowed on YouTube. But I think the cream rises to the top.
Yeah.
The problem is there's this perversion to it with algorithms and clickbaity stuff and all of that kind of stuff. I have a feeling we're going to move past that, and I think that's going to solve what you're talking about.
Well, I also see a future where, I think I'm from the East Coast originally. I'm from New Jersey, and because of that, a lot. Yeah,
We
I
won't
still
hold
love you.
Yeah.
We still, it's
Thank
okay.
you. I made it.
Yeah.
I made it.
Where's your gold chain, man?
It's
In the car.
under the mat
shows me
of
every
chest
time we
hair
hang
that is under this shirt. But I think a lot of people in New Jersey would immediately funnel to New York or Philadelphia, that kind of thing. And there's no denying that there's significant talent pools in places like that. But at the same time, growing up where I did, we had this small theater. It was, like plays theater. We all remember that, right? We would bring in amazing talent because we're so close to New York, but it was a community theater. And what would happen was everyone who starred alongside that amazing talent became amazing talent themselves. And I would predict that now that we have access in every little place in, let's say, North America, a technologically connected place, you're going to see unique talent and niche talent come out of the places that you're in as opposed to having to source it from talent pools. So what I could see is, for instance, regional television coming back really strong, like public access, but like good public access, because we know how to make stuff where we are. We have talented people where we are.
How's it get monetized though? Because that doesn't get monetized through YouTube.
Yeah.
That's going to be the real.
I have a question for Jack
Crowdsourcing.
Okay.
regarding this. Does the younger generation actually care about quality, like production quality?
Kind of. I mean, so it really depends from person to person because, like, I value quality, but, like, a lot of people in my school probably wouldn't.
Don't you think it legitimizes the guy, though?
I think it's a question of what does quality mean, and it's probably different for us than
Classic.
than
What
Jack.
is art?
I mean, like, would you call Casey Neistat quality? Yes, but
now
not
in his career.
not in
It's
traditional
quality
sense.
in his category.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Excellent
Well,
definition.
Yeah.
And a
well
person
said.
can be quality. Their content can be quality, and they can shoot it all on nothing. You know what I mean? On an iPhone or whatever, which isn't nothing nowadays, of course. But right, it's like it can be the person you're watching and be like, dude, the guy is so funny, and he's stuff he says, and it's prolific, and you can fall in love with a character, and that can be what holds them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, PewDiePie.
I guess it all depends what it is,
Sure,
too.
right.
What the content is.
Right.
But
it
if
could be if it's home improvements, it could just be like
We can't hear you.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
Sorry.
doesn't the
He just said something about home improvement.
the content, the compelling content, that's what drives
Tim Allen show?
everything
Yeah,
for
right.
you guys.
Let's just start talking about
It's like if you're not interested in this particular podcast, I don't care what kind
Who
of quality.
wouldn't be though? I mean, really.
Who wouldn't be?
Yeah,
Yes.
we have multi-generational content here. We got it all.
Yeah.
So let me ask a really convoluted question of the younger generation at the table.
A convoluted
Jack is
question
the
from him.
representative of
Yeah.
all youth here.
Yes, indeed.
Youths.
We're sorry for you. So, is there even such a thing as method acting anymore? Because I feel like your entire generation, one, probably hasn't lived at all. But two, like, I feel like there's this weird feedback loop where you guys are learning, like you're so saturated with stuff that everybody knows, like for instance, the taxi driver line, like you talking to me, and people can mimic.
That's actually Mel Gibson in Road Warrior.
Yeah, that was the Patriot.
Well done.
It's it was a study project when I was in film school, so I'm very familiar with that line.
So, but it seems like I even remember they were trying to cast the new Harrison Ford for the new Star Wars films. They were looking for Han Solo, and the guy who got the part got it because he went on YouTube and did the best impression of Han Solo.
That's how everybody on the show Stranger Things was cast. YouTube.
Really?
Wow.
Pretty much.
That's
yeah.
very-
all the
yeah,
stuff.
that's so cool.
Very interesting. But
Justin
I guess
Bieber was found on
my
it.
convoluted question being,
So video platforms
do you
changing the world
kind
in
of
unexpected ways.
I don't know,
That's
see a feedback loop of people creating content because they saw content, or I don't know what my question is.
Jack, can you tell him what his question is?
First, can you tell me what my question is? Younger generation, say that.
He started something with method acting and then he misreferenced the film.
Method acting film. No, I feel like
And Jack's like, taxi driver.
Yeah.
Fuck is that?
People
Uber
do
driver.
create.
Let's remake it.
Oh my god, we have to
Stupid.
make Uber driver.
Stupid driver.
Yes, let's do that as a side
It would all be in German.
Are you texting me?
Are you
It's freaking brilliant.
Worst podcast ever.
Very good.
But I feel like
Pretty good.
I feel like people do create content because they see content, like especially now with like the popularity of creating video game content. Like just my little brothers, they see older people making video game content, so they make video game content. So like I feel like that is
When you say older people, are we talking like two
Eight-
years
like
older?
teenagers.
19.
My age,
Teenagers.
right? Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
pretty much just teenagers now. Is
Yeah.
considered older.
And to answer your method acting, absolutely. I mean, Miley Cyrus. I mean, all of our celebrities are method actors, right? I mean, they're playing a part.
All the actors are going to be
Yeah.
animation soon.
What a unique question you ask, and actually that does kind of continue
wasn't a
my
question,
train of
but-
thought for you, Jack, which is, I mean, you guys are like born camera trained at this point.
Oh yeah. Everybody
know.
just pulls out their phone, click.
Yeah, and like, do you feel that
Selfie.
you have developed a way
Good
of
documentary.
being on camera accordingly?
Good documentary title.
I feel like it's less
Yeah.
awkward, like being on camera or like taking pictures of yourself or like vlogging it's way more like normal for most people because like you, especially for me, I've heard on YouTube when people talk about how they started out, they're like, yeah, first time I was on camera, I was so nervous I couldn't even talk, and then like here are my little brothers and everybody in my school who are taking pictures of themselves and like posting
Everybody's
videos on YouTube. And, like it's really not a thing anymore of being nervous.
TikTok and YouTube and all of that. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this off podcast about, that Jack's generation is camera ready.
Yeah.
They're so used to being in front of the camera. So it's going to be interesting to see like the actors and the talent and what comes out of that. Just like I think the storytelling that's going to come out of all of that. I mean, like it's all going to be good.
So actually,
There's just going to be so much of it.
I'm curious though, will it be baseless? Will it be emotionless because it's actually
No way, because we all respond to true, emotional, real stories.
But I think
so,
this is a form of mimicry because this is based off of a feedback loop as opposed to real creation. I don't know where this is going. Obviously, that's rather judgmental and generalized, but
I don't know. I think the best content, the best stories ever told are being told now.
Yeah, why would you think?
I
I
have
also
a quick
say, too-
interjection. Is anybody want a Rochambeau for The Last Farmer's Daughter?
You can have her
Is that
because
like
I won't
a
drive.
wrestling over in the corner?
Hop on.
Zach, here's what I'll say about that. I think survival of the fittest holds true in this game because, as Jack said, it's really hard to upload daily. And a true YouTuber, a couple times a week, that's even a huge commitment. I think once a week. Chris, if I asked you, I need you to send me a video once a week,
Yeah.
that would be a hard commitment to make with all the
be.
stuff we do.
Well, it's 'cause we
especially if
got
you're
Zach
not
working
making a
for him,
living.
but-
Well, and
Especially
then
if
life
you're not
gets
making
in
a
the way.
living on YouTube. If you had gotten to the point where your job was to continue to make YouTube videos and it was
Yeah,
self-sufficient,
because you're gonna-
you could put 40 hours a week to it. But
gotta-
as a
Yeah, you're going to have periods where there's a lot of creativity going on. There's a lot of content to be had.
Uh-huh.
So you're going to have a lot of things going out there. But
And then life catches up, right?
Well,
life happens, and
I'll-
and so here's my point, I guess, is that as the content bubble swells, we're going to probably see that the reason the content will probably continue to be good is that the people who aren't really in it, aren't really doing it because they love it, won't really produce that much content. They might start out heavy and then they'll fade off and it won't be their thing and they can't keep it up. And so then they'll fall down, and the ones who really love
Randy's
it
only
and
had
are
a few
super
beers.
into it. You know what I mean? That's what I think. I think the real content makers will produce more stuff and they'll be good at it because they love it.
Well, and I think more importantly, it's those that are making content that people want to watch. Obviously, it's compelling content. That's going to reign supreme anywhere.
But
And
it doesn't
and I-
necessarily correlate with being incredibly frequent.
It
does
not. No,
you can suck and
be frequent.
Yeah, but I would probably guess that the like YouTube algorithms and stuff encourage the frequency. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
the more you
So-
feed it, the better the beast behaves.
Here's my whole thinking, though, on all of that, and this is something I want to bring up with Sean, because both Sean and I recently did videos, and Sean just did a video blog for his own creative channel, and I did a social influencer advice column video for Natural Products Expo, which was really cool. But, and don't get mad at me, because this is a personal preference, it's an aesthetic thing, but I hate when people cut like every second or two because they're stitching together their thought. Right.
Jump cut?
The jump cut
Okay, welcome
in
to the real
vlogging.
world.
Well, so here's the thing. The way I did my video, and I don't like being on camera
was
very
highly
much,
produced,
right?
yeah.
It wasn't highly
wasn't
produced. It was that I only did enough information that I was able to deliver on camera with a stopping point, and I created a stopping point for myself in my script so that I could stop and cut appropriately. And yeah.
Since this podcast is semi about debate and talking shit, the difference between those two was that yours felt scripted, like you had a teleprompter, you had lines you had to say, whereas like the raw jump cut is an effect that you basically feel like you're speeding through someone's conversation in a natural way to talk. It's just a difference in edit, I think.
Well, but it's
difference
also
in
a
the way
difference
you
in
do it.
sincerity.
Yeah.
in
Which do you
presence.
think is more sincere?
I think it's probably the jump cut is going to be because
You didn't see my performance. So.
He can know what it is without
I would
seeing
say
it.
that it could go either way. I would say it could go either way, but I would, I mean, we are all attracted to sincere, truthful. I mean, that's where we watch something, we say, that was true, that was something that was not concocted or created.
And here's what I'll say. Something super cinematic with a wonderful actor can feel very true, honest, and raw.
Yeah.
And be very highly produced.
Absolutely.
And then there's also times when something should feel very highly produced, like a TV segment.
So you don't
or,
like his
you know-
acting skills, is what you're really trying to say.
No, I mean that's not what I'm saying. But what I will say is that like there's a time and a place for produced, and I think in yours it was almost like a tutorial video, and so it was good that it felt produced. You know what I mean? And the whole thing was how to make better video, and I think producing is part of making better video. So it worked in that sense. So my only thing is that it just depends on what and I guess as a creative, you have that freedom to say this is going to be a highly produced, almost like a TV show or a scripted kind of thing. Or in cinema, you would never do the jump cut unless it's like those, fast-paced edit transitions.
What you guys are
Yeah,
out there doing,
yeah.
Yeah. I would say that just to bring it all together, I'd say Jack said it best by saying that to me fits in a category of video, and to me that's an aesthetic that I don't appreciate. It gives me agita, it's Jewish anxiety.
What's it called?
Agita.
What did he
How's
say?
that
I had not heard that before.
It's
Agita.
It's Yiddish for
It's
Jewish anxiety.
G-I-T-A.
So
I mean, what does that even mean?
it
But
makes me
we will.
spits.
Like heartburn,
I'm-
stress,
But
both
yeah,
East Coast, so I
yeah.
get it.
So
I
you
know
you
what
get
you're
it, right? So,
Agita.
Yeah, agita. So in any case, for me, when I see that, I'm immediately pulled out of it. I don't absorb anything that they're saying.
Dick.
That's yeah, correct.
It's talking shit.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all part of. We tell you up front what you're getting in this.
Yeah, never get critiqued by me. I always like. There's maybe a glimmer of what you did well, and then
It comes from a good place. He wants you to be better, so you don't give him margin.
yeah.
What's your favorite film? This will tell everyone everything they need to know. What's your favorite film? And don't be like, oh well, I don't know. I don't have a favorite film.
Castle, man.
Zoolander. I'd say Zoolander is probably my
There you
favorite
go.
movie.
Let's see your Magnum look.
Right to the camera. That was good. You went straight to camera on that. Too bad it was focused.
Camera train
Let's have a
from
beer.
Camera train since I was. When did the iPhone come out for me? 2007.
It
I
came out
was-
for you at the same time it came out for all of us.
Well,
Yeah, when you were born.
let's see. Yeah, I was 18 when the iPhone came
Oh,
out.
fuck
So yeah, I don't think.
I think it came out the same year Jack was. 2008. Is that iPhone 2008? Jack was 3.
Right.
Something.
You
So
gotta
I'm
throw
thinking
the
about this.
issue
We have,
out
we have a
there.
teenager. Are you still in your 20s?
No,
No.
I'm not.
No. Shit.
30s.
I
yeah.
thought we went teen, 20, 30, 40, and so on and so forth.
Other categories.
You're wiser too. So that always helps.
But just to quickly summarize
Why is it?
all
Did you
that.
hit the 5-0?
What's that?
You hit the 5-0?
It's been a while.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Just
Oh yeah.
yeah.
You look great.
Doesn't he? These
Thanks,
two
bro.
guys, look at this.
It's
Oh,
always
all those-
whenever
Yeah,
they say
Colorado
you look
living
great,
right
you're just
there.
like going, that's like a cringe. You're like going,
Right.
God damn, is it that bad?
Exactly.
You want to compliment you.
I just want to hear.
No, but
Normally-
well,
to be honest, I think it's
Wow,
great
you
having
got
Jack
a bag
here.
for you.
I do
to
have
get
a
his
story. I'll
impression
share it
on the-
later.
on
Maybe
the
we should
industry
turn off
and
the.
that age
God.
bracket's thoughts.
I do have a
Yeah,
story.
absolutely.
That's funny.
Chris has a
yeah,
story.
I did want
Yes.
Okay.
Chris to share the story of when the production that made his hair go completely white.
I used to
but-
be very black hair, very dark.
Yeah, I think
When
on
was
Faye's
that?
website.
That was like about a year.
looked like
well, no,
Mussolini.
It's right after I hired Zach.
He's like black hair on that dude's website.
Yeah,
The creative collective there that you're part of.
yeah.
That's
Okay.
a picture of you from a while ago.
So
I think it was from Matt personally, but anyways, I digress.
yeah. No.
So, but just to
That-
kind
that
of
had something to do with it.
just to sum up our conversation there entirely, I would say that it is telling that each of you referenced YouTube as if it's a microcosm and the only place to post things. I think as we progress, I wonder the future of YouTube. I wonder what streaming in general is going to present to us.
Vimeo's grown,
Where else would
but
you?
only within the
Vimeo-
artist community.
Vimeo is-
Vimeo's on, like, a
TikTok,
different-
all kinds of platforms, all kinds of
TikTok's a
things.
little girl.
Yeah, no. There's one place for video, and it's YouTube. I mean,
Vimeo is just
I
like
heard of
different.
one. What
Do you
was
think Vimeo is
Bright
like a good
Cove
one
or
for step
something?
up? Bright Cove.
Yeah, I've heard.
what's what? Okay, let's go around. What's your favorite video you've watched on Vimeo recently? Okay, next. What's your favorite video you watched on Vimeo
That
recently?
look in my eye said
What's
it
your
all.
favorite
There's
Vimeo?
climbing
I don't
stuff
go to
on-
YouTube
There's
either.
climbing stuff on Vimeo.
You know,
And
I mean,
art.
it's
Reels on Vimeo,
it's.
actually,
Listen,
a lot.
I've been extolling the virtues of Vimeo for years, but YouTube is where it's at. I mean, Google owns
Yeah,
it.
because
I
I
mean,
could tell
shit.
you YouTube when I
Until
watched,
you know,
immediately.
and you know, this actually kind of changes directions for us. But we all make money doing this, and until I mean, YouTube supposedly in the news is going to have to restructure soon. So what does that mean for?
Yeah, but we know where
the
you get your
15
news.
cents you make a year on YouTube.
It's going to
Like,
be
what are
a
you gonna
soft
do?
landing to
Yeah.
put it.
What do you mean they're gonna have to restructure?
Well, they got into big issues with their kids' content.
Yeah, but they fixed all that.
YouTube
No,
just
they're
cut off
gonna
our feed.
split.
What's going on?
They're gonna split and make YouTube Kids with a paywall. There's gonna be YouTube Premium. I
Alright.
watch Cobra Kai on YouTube, which is
How
like
was that?
it's so good.
I still need to
It's
watch
so
that.
good,
Oh, I
dude.
want to.
They've and that's something too where they took footage from 20 years ago and cut it into this show.
and it worked.
It works so
Nice.
well. It's so compelling. It gives you so much information about the characters, and we're gonna see more and more of that.
Yeah.
We're gonna see these characters create. I can't wait to see
And
the
that comes down
movie.
to editing skill and
I-
storytelling skill.
I want to see the movie where they roto out characters and put them in a movie.
Oh,
you know,
like,
Dream Team
Kung,
style.
Kung Pao Enter the Fist.
Yes,
That is
Kung Pao's a
brilliant movie.
great example
It's a
of that.
wonderful movie.
I can't wait
So
to see where
funny.
post production goes with our capabilities. I bet.
You're just
How
looking
many
at
people do
deep
they
fake
have in
porn
a
shit.
sweatshop doing that?
Well, so an example of this. Do you guys remember? It was Believer
Yeah.
by what's that band?
Then I saw her face.
Yeah.
Smash Mouth.
I think it was in
No.
I
Taxi
know they're
Driver.
not the original ones.
But Dolph
The Monkees movie,
Lundgren.
the Monkees.
No. This was a current song. But Dolph Lundgren, essentially, they were gonna make a music video for this song, and so they got Dolph Lundgren from Rocky, as we all know, awesome, and they asked him for an entire day just to do stuff on green screen. That's it. And he did stuff on green screen, and then they released it to the world, and they asked people to key it out and create their own best music video of the song. And of the submissions, somebody was selected as an editor for best music video, and then they got rep, the band got rep, Dolph Lundgren got rep, and it was like one of those things where what could we even imagine what would be created from this? It's like Photoshop battles on Reddit. You know, it's just like we're heading.
cool.
Yeah, really
Yeah.
interesting times.
That's super cool.
Although,
No, go ahead, my friend.
Yeah. Finish that thought.
I was just reading the room. Guys.
I was just going back to the YouTube and Vimeo. I think Vimeo has a much better interface and way better quality. Just saying.
Absolutely. No,
It's just 'cause,
absolutely.
like, it's
Like
on the-
YouTube is like Walmart and Vimeo is
Target?
finish
Macy's?
Target.
Macy's?
Yeah.
Macy's?
Target.
Now, is Macy's still around?
Add-on.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Vimeo. It's funny though because like I very rarely go on there just to be like I just want to watch something. I go to YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, and there,
yeah.
but when I go to YouTube more and more, I'm like, I don't want to watch what Casey Neistat's doing. Oh, fucking Peter McKinnon. I'm so like over Peter
I
McKinnon.
guess I'll watch Binging with
Oh, I'm
Babish
so
again,
over
you know.
like Sarah Dietschy. I'm so over Potato Jet. I'm so over like
Potato Jet.
everyone.
I like Potato Jet still.
I do like him.
I like his stuff.
But
still.
I'm like it's so clickbaity. It's like a 19-minute video that could be summed up in 90 seconds, but they waste 19 minutes of my time.
I heard.
It's high production value. It's so well done, but it's like get to the point, people.
Speaking of podcasts, am I right?
Yeah, exactly. That's a
Get
fantastic.
to the point.
Fantastic outro.
That's a fantastic way to cue us up to outro this. So Zach, it has been fantastic having you on. Let's
Take it away, Letty.
Thank you
let's
for
wrap this
having
up.
having me.
Gentlemen, it's always a pleasure to sit down and talk about our craft and drink beer this time. Thank you, Chris, for bringing the Farmer's Daughter.
Chris is my hero.
And
Me
for those
too.
of you brave enough to listen to this podcast, please make sure you've subscribed on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. Share it with your friends and colleagues. And also, if you can, give us a little love on iTunes by rating and leaving feedback for this podcast. And lastly, go out and make something.
Go out and make something.
On the next episode,
it.
we're going to talk all about the video production process, which I know sounds boring, but I promise it's going to be really good shit.
So good. Filmmakers and photographers drinking coffee and talking
Shit.